samples available so that once they took a sample, they gave it to one of the exercise coordinators, and then they gave them an actual sample of chemical that they used to test in their equipment. Again, you can see that a lot of people involved in setting up and actually out there at the site, getting people suited up and taking samples. We did find that one of the problems was the suits did make it difficult to take samples and work with the equipment. So there were some good lessons learned. In the SimCell area, we actually had volunteers that played roles and took phone calls, and then some of the exercise group with them on how to respond. Potable water plan was a key element of this, and so we had to make sure that that ran well. We ran both the SimCell and the potable water portion of the exercise out of the county EOC, and that way I was there to be able to kind of help coordinate the efforts. Some action planning on how to coordinate the county EOC with San Jose Water and the potable water distribution. How would they get that out to various locations? How would they pick the sites and so forth? And then the Joint Information Center. We didn't have any actual press there, but two of the players were former reporters and understood the process and were very helpful in the exercise of the JIC. So we had some various lessons learned. There were some modifications to the emergency water quality sample kits. Something as simple as just having a tarp to set the bottles on. That wasn't in the initial kit. That is now in every kit, so that they have a clean area, clean surface to work from for placing the bottles and then collecting the samples. Into our emergency water operations. Looking here, here's some of the key players. In California, we initially handle events under the SIMS, the Standardized Emergency Management System, which then, after Katrina became, or excuse me, 9/11 became NIMS, the National Incident Management System. Some of the key players are WARN, Water Wastewater Agency Response Network, that started in California, and then the California Utilities Emergency Association. And you can see that WARN is at all levels, and CUEA is really at the State Operations Center and regional centers. So after Katrina, we decided as water utilities in the Bay Area that we wanted to look at the effects of that type of an event in the Bay Area. And for instance, San Jose Water, we would have a situation where we would need roughly on day one 250,000 gallons of potable water would be needed in our service area. And that's something that San Jose Water Company on its own couldn't handle. Therefore, that would become something that the County Office of Emergency Services would handle and then work up to the state and the federal if they needed it. On day 10, we would still have enough outage that we would probably have somewhere around 150,000 gallons of potable water needed. Again, that becomes very difficult to coordinate, and we knew that we had to improve our coordination with state and federal agencies. One of the first things that we started to work on and develop was a potable water bagging system. It was developed locally in this area, can produce about 15,000 liters of potable water a day. Initially, the system had to have a potable water source and would add two forms of disinfection, the ozone and UV. And now they've actually developed it to where they have RO technology involved, and so can take any source of water and make it potable, and again, produce about 15,000 liters of water a day. The system bags the water, seals it, cuts it, and drops it into a container that can then be moved to a distribution location. So 2008 really spawned a lot of the work that we've done in this emergency potable water area, and we found that we had good coordination at the state and the regional emergency operations center, but we had no standard operating procedures. And at the state center, you have connection with FEMA and Army Corps of Engineers. So that seemed to be a pretty good section there. But we had these gaps further further down the chain, and that's what we wanted to work on correcting. From that, we got a stakeholders group together. That group started brainstorming and came up with the development of what we call the Joint Water Task Force. This was an effort led by myself and Kelly Hubbard from Orange County. We started with developing standard operating procedures for the Regional Emergency Operations Center, and now we're working on the State Operations Center. From this, we had multiple documents that we had to combine. So the documents, the text that the way we did is we put everything together. The text from Cal EMA documents was in red, WARN documents in blue, and what the initial Joint Water Task Force came up with in black, and then started massaging that to come up with a final one document for water. So where we stand right now is we have things in place with both standard operating procedures for the state, the REOC, and we're just finishing up the county, and we're going to be exercising that document June 1st with a wide range of stakeholders, and then released down to the city and utility level. Some of the key parts of this document is just the description of the position, what it does, how you integrate with other areas within the EOC, both at the city, county, and state level, and then checklists so that someone coming in doesn't have to remember what they need to do. They just follow the checklist, move down, and get their work done. Next step is to complete the development, train all op areas, then move to cities and utilities, again holding both tabletop exercises, functional, and at some point full-scale exercise. The last thing I want to cover here is some of the areas that we're working in our jurisdiction is, again, improving the equipment. They now have it solar and with RO. Improving software, which is East Bay Mud's been leading with Marconi, and now is going to be implemented in quite a few other utilities. And then our coordination with Carnegie Mellon, the Disaster Management Initiative at the NASA Ames Research Park, and then trying to get all of this organized and coordinated through the National Disaster Resiliency Center, which has just been formed as of the last 2 months. So that's all of my presentation. Sorry that went a little bit long, Noah.
Jim, no problem. I think we have one question out of San Francisco that I want to address to you so we don't lose the momentum. How are you addressing the difficulties in filling and capping the small bottles in the EWQSK by the hazmat team?
That is a challenge. The small vials for the volatile organic chemicals, the small vials, that they found very difficult. They were able to do it, but with those types of samples, you're not supposed to have any air gap. They weren't able to accomplish that, but working with EPA and California Department of Public Health, they both felt that any sample, even though it's not a perfect sample, is better than no sample. And so it's a challenge. It's just something that the hazmat teams have to practice with on an ongoing basis.
Great. I hope that answered everyone's questions. And give me 1 second. I'm just going to switch the screen here for Alex. Bear with me.